Aloha, everyone. Tech issues. Welcome to another week of Trauma Recovery University. I'm your host, Athena Moberg, and with us in the green room, of course, is your incredible co-host, Bobby Parrish. I would like to say a very special welcome to each of you that show up early every week, and you're just supporting one another on the Twitter stream. Come on and join us if you guys have not joined us. If you're new to this channel, go over to Twitter, use the hashtag #NoMoreShame, and join our community of awesome, amazing, friendly people. This week's topic is books that will help you on your recovery journey from childhood sexual abuse or any type of child abuse. So if you are an adult survivor of child abuse of any kind, specifically childhood sexual abuse, you're in the right place. This is our weekly Q&A. We show up here every single week to support you, the survivor community, to answer your questions and to provide valuable resources for you to have everything you need for healthy, informed trauma recovery. Myself, Athena Moberg, and Bobby Parrish, we make up two of the incredibly huge growing community, the survivor community, and Trauma Recovery University. Trauma Recovery University started out as just a project. We were going to have an annual anthology and just see if people wanted to join in and share their story and use their voice and heal in safe community. And that was a couple years ago. And here we are. Our friend Rachel Thompson started Sex Abuse Chat on Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, which has grown into 3 Twitter chats. And we have a global audience in so many countries. And you guys are the reason that we are here, and you are what make this community powerful and incredible. So thank you for being here. And the books that have supported us in our recovery journey play a huge part. Now, I want to say something very, very important that I'm sure Bobby will echo and we will mention all throughout the broadcast. We are not saying, don't go to therapy, don't get a counselor, don't hire a coach, don't get professional help, don't go to a board-certified psychologist, don't go to a psychiatrist and get on medication for anything that you're worried about. Just read a book. That's not what we're saying. We are saying that books are knowledge and they empower you and they help you to take an active part in your recovery journey. And we are always huge proponents of you feeling empowered and taking an active role, playing an active role in your own recovery journey. Please remember that every single survivor heals at a different pace. What is good for you might not be good for me. What is great for Bobby might not be great for me. And that's okay. Each of us is an individual. Each of us has our own recovery journey that we need to focus on so that we can be as mentally, emotionally, and physically healthy as possible. Our goal here on this channel is always to equip you and empower you so that, again, you have everything you need for healthy, informed trauma recovery, but that you would live a life of wholeness, that you would feel whole. And we believe that wholeness is possible, and we are here to show you how. So we have a comprehensive one page, as always, that goes along with this topic. You can get complimentary access to it just for being an awesome survivor, because we appreciate you. Going over to one of our websites, either NoMoreShameProject.com or TraumaRecoveryUniversity.com. Click on the tab that says Downloadables, and you will be given immediate access to tonight's downloadable resource titled Books to Aid Your Recovery Journey. And also you'll have access to our entire library of downloadable resources. We, every single week, for 100 weeks now, I think, we've composed a one-page quick snapshot resource for you, the survivor in recovery. And you can download those, print them out, put them in a notebook, share them with people that you think will help. We have several people from different nonprofit organizations and colleges and helping professionals and just practitioners that are in the mental health field that print our resources out and give them to their own patients and their own clients. And we are honored by that. So together we are stronger, and we're just here to be one link in the chain of awesome things that will help you recover. So I just invite you, please go to one of our websites, click downloadables, get access to anything and everything you could possibly need for healthy, informed trauma recovery. And if you are listening on a podcast platform, such as iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, or any other podcast platform that may have come out recently because they're just coming up out of nowhere, we want to remind you this is a video broadcast. And Bobby Parrish and myself have a Roku TV channel. It's called Trauma Recovery University. It can be found on any Roku device. Roku, if you're not familiar with it, is similar to Hulu Plus. You can purchase a Roku device at any Walmart or on Amazon, and you can find us, you can find our channel on Roku. You can stream, you can binge watch, stream 100 hours or more of helpful content for you to heal at your own pace. So we just want to invite you. And we also have a YouTube channel, obviously. And if you are here on YouTube, thank you. Give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone you love. Tell everybody that they can come here every week and hang out with us. And we just want to thank you for being here and being the most important part of this community. Without further ado, I want to hand everything over to Bobby Parrish, who will issue a trigger warning, and we will jump right into content and share with you this incredible one page that we have compiled thanks to your recommendations of books. Bobby, it's all yours. I'll take the Twitter stream off your hands now.
Hey, everybody. It's so good to see you. We have a few new people tonight, and I haven't gotten a chance to greet them yet, so I will pass that off to Athena. But we've been talking about all things wonderful on the Twitter stream, including Captain Crunch cereal. And
I love Captain Crunch. I love it.
I know. I wish it wouldn't tear the roof of my mouth up, though.
I know.
That is sharp cereal.
It is sharp. It tastes good, but it is really, really rough on the mouth. Goodness. Okay, go ahead.
As Athena said, we have 3 Twitter chats every week, and the first one's on Monday at noon my time. So it's at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific and 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern, and then it's 6 p.m. in the UK. And we do that one primarily for our UK audience because the other chats we do are at 2 o'clock in the morning their time. So this morning we had the most awesome chat with people just naming off all the books that have helped them in their recovery. And like Athena said, we're not at all saying, you know, chuck everything, just read a book. What we are saying is add a few books to what you're already doing that works, because knowledge is power, you know, and if you have been with us for a while, you have heard us say repeatedly that in our personal recoveries, we did not get much information about trauma. Nobody educated us. It wasn't part of our therapy. It wasn't part of anything that was given to us at all. So we had to educate ourselves. And it took us longer to recover because we didn't have knowledge or education about trauma. We didn't know how it affected our brain. Nobody talked to us about boundaries or narcissism or avoiding predators. So one of the things that we do here for you is provide you with information that we think you need, because we hope it will make your recovery journey simpler and faster. So here we are tonight to share books with you that we have used in our recovery, that we use in our coaching practices, and that our community shared this morning on the Twitter stream as books that were helpful to them. So I'm so excited. If you go and get the PDF, downloadable PDF that's on NoMoreShameProject.com, click on the tab that says downloadables, you will be able to download the PDF, and every single link is clickable and goes straight to Amazon. And Amazon, if you don't know, has an excellent selection of used books. So if cost is an issue, and even if cost isn't an issue and you like being thrifty, look at their used book selections. A lot of these books that we're presenting tonight have been on the market for quite a while. They're just gold standards for trauma recovery. So they should have quite a deep selection of used books. Also, because they have been around for a while and they are gold standard, they should be in your local library. So obtaining books, obtaining this information, cost should never be a road bump or a barrier for anyone. I'm hoping that virtually all of these are available, either dirt cheap on Amazon. As we were talking this morning, I picked up one of them for $4 on Amazon, and most of them should be available at your library. And I'm hoping, if not at your local library, that you're connected to a library system where you can snag it from another library and have it shipped into yours. So, oops, better turn my ringer off.
I know, I'm going ding, 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 ding over here also.
So I'm so excited to share this information with you tonight and hopefully give all of you a better chance to get information that you need and make the progress that you want to make in your recovery journey.
Hey, Bobby. I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say this before you move on with the rest of your announcements. I forgot to tell all of you who are tuning in on a replay that you can go directly down to the bottom. No need to sit through all of this and then be like meanies. No more meanie pants on this channel. I know it's like voluntary and you guys can do what you want, but seriously, just go down in the description section to the very bottom. If this is a replay for you and you don't want to hang out with us live and hear us answer questions, just click on the number. You'll fast forward through all of our talking, and then you can just see the screen share of the valuable one-page downloadable resources. And if you want access to that and you just want easy clickable links, then just go to the one page and download it off of our website. But no need to leave us meanie pants comments from all of our talking. Why don't you just get to it already? Tick tock, tick tock. Just click quickly and nicely and easily fast forward just for you. We provide that for you just as a convenience. Okay, Bobby, back to you. Just had to say that.
So I want to issue a trigger warning. So make sure and make a note in your head that you need to practice excellent self-care tonight, because this is a broadcast that discusses childhood abuse. And we want you to enjoy it and to learn from it and not be stressed and triggered while you're listening or watching. So if you become triggered, just go ahead and shut it down, turn off your podcast, close your computer, and then come back when you're ready. It'll be up on YouTube, it'll be on iTunes, on Roku TV. It'll be available to come back to later. And as we also always say, not every piece of information, not every video is going to be for every survivor. It might not be a place that you're in your recovery. It might not be something you need to know. So it's possible you'll never come back to it, and that's okay. We try to provide topics that are as wide as possible to capture the needs of as many survivors as possible, but not everybody needs everything. So if this isn't a video that's going to be helpful to you, by all means, go ahead and skip it and click over to the next one. I think we probably have by now probably close to about 150 hours worth of content. So I'm hoping that somewhere in there you'll find something that's helpful to you. If you are in crisis tonight or you need help urgently, we want to provide you with some phone numbers and some websites to help you. If you are in the United States or Canada, you can reach out to RAINN. RAINN is the Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network. They can be reached at 1-800-656-HOPE, H-O-P-E. Or you can reach them on their website. They have a crisis chat feature at RAINN, RAINN.org. There is also for those of us, I'm not in the UK, those of you who are in the UK, you can reach out to the Samaritans. And the Samaritans are available at 116-123. There we go, 116-123. Or you can email them at Joe, J-O, at Samaritans.org. Wow, sorry folks. So Joe at Samaritans.org. And you can also text them, and that is at 0775 909090. So many ways to reach the Samaritans in the UK. If you are in Australia, you can reach out to your national hotline at 131114. If you're in crisis tonight, we do ask that you not seek help on the Twitter stream using the No More Shame hashtag. We do want you to get help. We just ask that you not use the hashtag to ask for help, because crisis on the Twitter stream during the broadcast triggers others. And we want to make sure that everyone possible has access to this information. And please use one of the other resources or seek help from someone directly on the Twitter stream without using the hashtag. Okay, and then just one other quick thing. We have pretty much set the dates for our November conference. It will be November 11th and 12th in Dallas. And by next week or the week after, we should have an announcement on the facility. So set your calendars, and within the next couple of weeks, we'll have both a location and a registration page up for you. So we're so excited, and we already have some sponsors. So we have people saying they'll be there, and we would love for you to be there as well. So let's talk books. We have books about virtually every topic that people shared this morning, from books specifically for male survivors to books about codependency, boundaries, relationships, parenting as an abuse survivor, all kinds of things. So by all means, if you have a book that you really found benefit from in your recovery journey, and you're on the Twitter stream right now, just go ahead and tweet it out to us using the hashtag No More Shame, because we would love to hear what you recommend. And then if you're watching this as a replay, you can always email us at nomoreshameproject@gmail.com. And I would imagine that at some point we'll go ahead and add a list of book resources to the website. And
we are on it.
Yes.
We are on it.
As we get more from you, we'll continue to add them so that everybody has a list that they can use. And we'll add 1 or 2 sentences about what each one is. I didn't have a chance to do that for the one page, and it wouldn't well fit on the one page. So, but just click, and it'll take you right over to Amazon, and you'll be able to see very quickly what they're all about. So, how's everybody doing on the Twitter stream?
I am barely able to keep up just saying hi to everybody that's here. I'm not sure if I have any questions yet. I'll let you know. I'll let you know in just a second, like as you're pulling up the one page. Is that okay?
Of course it is. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm trying to keep up, but everybody's just so awesome and supporting each other and everything. And I'm just barely able to, I'm not even down to been able to say hi to everybody that's here. So.
Well, that is one thing that I love about our community, is that they greet each other. And so it's not a matter of them just sitting there waiting for us to do that. They support and encourage one another. I think even if we were not there, weren't able to be there on the Twitter stream for one reason or another, our iPhones got struck by lightning.
I felt like my Google Hangouts, it got struck by lightning. You guys, if you believe in the power of prayer, please just pray that my Google-ness would fix itself, because as you can see, the fancy dancy beautiful little banners that I worked so hard on and got our branding colors and everything, and I had them all set up for Bobby and I every week. All we had to do is click a button. It was awesome. They're just gone, or mine's gone. Bobby's works, but mine doesn't work, and so we went for matchy match this week and just decided to go without. But yeah, just some different parts of the Google app that for the Hangouts on air is not working properly, and that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. This is live. That's what happens when you do things that are live. So, but I just wanted to say hi to Jody Ortega, who she, as you guys know or don't know, she did a TEDx talk, and it was on the topic of her sexual abuse. And I reached out to her this morning asking if she would sort of help me perhaps get organized to do a TEDx talk, and what process she went through or whatever. And Jody, I did get your DM, but I didn't get it until recently. So anyway, that's on the horizon, which I'm super excited about. Bobby and I have sort of been, in fact, Bobby and I started talking about me doing a TEDx talk a year and a half ago, and I just haven't done it yet. So all in due time. And but I wanted to say hi to Jody because I know sometimes she can't make it to this particular chat. And always thank you to Susan, Shiny Blue Dress Sue, who's just a great supporter of the survivor community over in the UK. And we have some great things on the horizon with Jody Amen, you guys. We're talking about a retreat in Colorado or Arizona. We're not sure which one. A survivor retreat. Bobby just announced the dates once again for our conference, which is in Dallas, Texas on Veterans Day weekend. I have Bree Bonchet, who, as you know, was our guest on the very first annual Narcissistic Abuse Virtual Summit, along with Richard Grannon, the Spartan Life Coach. And Bree and I are really trying to collaborate and do an in-person narcissistic abuse event in August of this year. And the very first annual Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day, you guys, is June 1st. It's coming up. And I'm way behind schedule on getting her some artwork for some memes and for some advertisement. My plate runneth over. So, but there's just so much going on in the survivor community. And there are so many different branches, all these different groups that have birthed off of this original group of all these different genres of abuse, and everyone just supporting one another in their recovery journeys. And it's just powerful and incredible to see and to be a part of. Just for us to be a small part of everything you guys are doing is, it just brings tears to my eyes. And it just is so overwhelming and awesome. And so I just wanted to say thank you. So, I don't even know what else to say other than thank you. I just wanted to just say a very special hello to Jody, though, because I really am. I'm leaning sort of heavily, you guys. I'm leaning more than I normally do on our community to help me put the pieces together as to what it is that Bobby and I, this grand vision of everything that Bobby and I have been working on all this time, from TEDx talks to events. I have one of a friend and colleague and client that's helping me with conference, our conference organization to help get us some sponsors and get everything organized. I have another colleague, client, friend that's helping us with all of the back end stuff on all of our websites. And just, I didn't ask their permission to talk about them and like say their names yet. So I'm not I'm not being secretive on purpose, but I just want to make sure that I'm honoring everyone's confidentiality. So, but yeah, we have so many people in the survivor community, and Bobby and I will be, over the course of the next several months and years, we'll be leaning sort of on you to help us put all these pieces together and to help this grand vision of everyone being connected just become an even bigger vision. So I don't know how to word that in a way that doesn't sound like I'm trying to put all the work off on you. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying that we appreciate you guys. Like Bobby says, like everybody shows up and you support one another and you greet one another. You don't just sit back and wait for Bobby and I to do everything. Like that is the most amazing thing about the survivor community. You guys come alongside of us and you say, what can I do? What can I do to help? I'm interviewing someone on Wednesday that wants to be an intern. I'm interviewing her in the morning. We just, every single week, we have new people that come alongside us and they're like, how can I help? What can I do? What can I do? This is my skill set. And we're trying to find places to plug in everybody's very unique gifts and talents so that this beautiful quilt, this fabric of everybody just being woven together into this beautiful tapestry, it could be all these separate pieces that don't match up, but we're weaving this all together and it's just so beautiful. I mean, I see it as a completed work of art. I can see it right now. It's right there. And I'm just trying to reverse engineer it and find out where to put everybody in their own little perspective spot and have everything just work together. So just thank you for your incredible support and for wanting to be a part of this community. These books, this curated list that we have for you on one page is only a small snapshot of what you can accomplish and digest as a part of your recovery journey. There was a gal in chat this morning, I believe it was Amelia. She's been struggling and going through trying for all these years to get the proper support in her recovery journey. And she was looking at the list of books that we were talking about, and she's like, I'm really hoping some of these books will help because I'm sort of feeling like I'm at a bit of a dead end. Like she kind of feels like she's maybe at the end of her rope, or I forget the exact words she used, and I'm paraphrasing. But you guys, just when you think you're at your end of your rope and you can't go any farther in your recovery journey and you're just like ready to throw in the towel because this just freaking sucks, I want to encourage you to just glance at this list and see what book just pops out at you, and then just try to purchase the cheapest version of it that you possibly can and get your hands on that knowledge and see if something clicks for you before you give up. Before you get to that place, just see if a little piece of, it could just be the smallest thing that will just go and click, and it will unlock all this stuff that you just needed. Oh my gosh, that was the missing puzzle piece that I needed to put all of this together so I can finally reach those goals that I have for my recovery. Just don't give up, whatever you do. I think that's kind of my message. Bobby, your comments on that?
Well, it's interesting because people are talking on the Twitter stream already about books, and I'm retweeting each one that I see. But some people are talking about, this book didn't help me. So, and other people are talking about how reading can be hard sometimes, which is so true, because our concentration and focus can take a big hit when our PTSD or depression are high. Other people are talking about how reading is triggering for them. And people are saying, read in small bites, digest it in small bites, read some, go back to it, read some, go back to it. Other people are saying, I tried this book, but it wasn't right for me right then. But, I picked it up later and I read it. So I'm trying to retweet all the recommendations that people are making. And I love that they're making recommendations of everything that's directly about trauma recovery to books like Stephanie just shared the book, The Artist's Way. And that is a fantastic book. Love it to death. If you are at all into writing therapy, expressive therapies, I can't recommend that book highly enough. But it's not directly about trauma. But that doesn't mean it can't be really helpful for trauma survivors, especially when it comes to writing therapy and expressive therapies, because those get at things that we just don't have stored in the language centers of our brain. So I recommend those so highly. So I'm just retweeting here as all of you are making some wonderful recommendations. And yes, keep in mind, sometimes reading is hard. It can be very hard. If your PTSD is high or your depression is high, or probably maybe a little bit more applicably very low. And then, not every book is going to be good for everyone. And read things in small chunks. If you find it triggering, if it's triggering you, walk away from it and come back to it later, if at all. Okay? So I'm going to pull up the one page and let's take a look at what we have gathered for you. And then,
Hey, I just wanted to say a really quick hello to Mary Ann. This is her first time tweeting. So,
yay!
hi, Mary Ann. I'm not sure if you're tuning in to the video. If someone could maybe give Mary Ann a link to the YouTube video in case she wants to watch, since this is her first time tweeting. Sometimes if it's your very, very, very first tweet, you guys, choosing to take part in a Twitter chat can be a little overwhelming. So give yourself some grace there and maybe just kick back and watch a video if that helps. But we're just grateful that all you guys are here regardless.
You bet. Okay. So here we are on the one page. Recovery from childhood abuse is both challenging and complex, right? Oftentimes we don't have the knowledge of trauma and healing that we need to feel empowered in our recovery. We at Trauma Recovery University recognize the power of education about childhood abuse, both how it affects us and how we can heal from it. In fact, we believe knowledge about trauma and recovery are essential to every survivor's healing. Okay, because knowledge is power. If you understand how trauma and abuse affect you, you can more easily recover. If you have a whole array of recovery resources in front of you, you're more likely going to be able to find what fits for you. And you're going to be able to choose and exercise your power. That is one of the most beneficial things we can do in recovery, is take our power back and then exercise our power. That is so, it's so motivating, and it creates awesome forward momentum in recovery. We do our best each week to bring you high quality information, but we realize there are so many more resources out there, especially in the form of books. In this one page, we have assembled a list of books that we think all survivors can benefit from reading. All of them are available on Amazon, and if you just click on the link, it'll take you straight there, and most are likely available at your local library. Yeah, Athena and I do work really hard with these videos to provide you with comprehensive amounts of information, but we know we can't do it all, and we don't have the expertise, the education, and the experience that many of these people do, and we certainly cannot be experts in every subcategory that's out there. So we are so happy to be able to assemble a list of books for you. And in case I forget, next week we're going to talk about movies, documentaries, films, podcasts, all things multimedia formatted that can help you in your recovery. So be thinking about those. Tweet them in using the No More Shame hashtag or email them to us at nomoreshameproject.com. And I put these in alphabetical order, I hope. So the first one is Born for Love, Why Empathy is Essential and Endangered, by Bruce Perry and Maya Solovitz. Hope I did that right. I'm so sorry. Anything that Bruce Perry writes is awesome, and I will not hesitate to recommend anything, but this one is so good because it talks about the power of empathy. And I am a huge advocate of empathy, not sympathy, but empathy. So I would absolutely recommend this book if you're looking for an understanding of what can help you and what you can do if you're moving more now through your recovery into an advocacy role, or you're moving into a peer leader role. You can explore why empathy is essential for your work with others. And then here's a gold standard. Athena and I have talked about this book many times, and we will talk about it many more. Boundaries. When to say yes and how to say no. We've said many times that boundaries are absolutely essential in your recovery. And this book is a very plain, simple, straightforward book that talks about boundaries. And for those of us, virtually all survivors were not allowed to have boundaries when they were children. And so we don't know how to put them in place as we grow up. And that's why we get re-victimized at the alarmingly high rate that we do. So we have to learn how to set boundaries. And it's hard, especially hard to say no, because that was not a word that was allowed when we were a child, particularly if our sexual abuse was long standing. Saying no didn't even begin to be an option. So we highly recommend Cloud Townsend's book about boundaries. Childhood Disrupted: How Your Biography Becomes Your Biology and How You Can Heal. I love this book because it talks about how our childhood abuse affects our brain and our body. And this is something that wasn't even on the map when I was recovering. I didn't even get any education about this when I was in grad school. This is something that is really becoming forefront material within the last decade. So I think it's so important that we all understand how our childhood abuse affected our body. And then how do we heal? How do we change it? What do we do about it? We've talked a lot about that here on the show. We recently did abuse in the brain. We've talked about recovery and nutrition. We've talked about executive functioning. So all of the ways that our bodies have been impacted. We talked about autoimmune disorders. So if you want to know more about that, this is an excellent book. And here's another gold standard. I love Peter Walker's book, Complex PTSD: From Surviving to Thriving, a Guide and Map for Recovering from Childhood Trauma. Last week, we talked about misdiagnoses, and one of the misdiagnoses that is common within our community is borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality is seldom the correct diagnosis for an abuse survivor. Complex PTSD is the diagnosis, is the accurate diagnosis. Unfortunately, has not yet been recognized by the powers that be that hand out official mental health diagnoses. We'll get there though. But Peter Walker does an excellent job of walking through what it is, how it happens, and how you can recover. So I can't recommend that book highly enough. This is a good book too, Anita Eggers Brooks, Getting Through What You Can't Get Over. Stories, tips, and inspiration to help you move past your pain into lasting freedom. And Athena, you read this one and even did a blurb for her, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Do you want to share for a minute on what you think about this book?
Yes, that book was really helpful for me. In fact, I have my stack of books here, you guys. Anita Eggers Brooks' book that Bobby just recommended, Getting Through What You Can't Get Over. It's written from a faith-based perspective. And in my opinion, the blurb I wrote on the back, I'll just read you the blurb I wrote on the back, but I want to tell you a little bit about it as well. I wrote, Getting Through What You Can't Get Over is an insightful and powerful call to reclaim our lives regardless of the pain we've endured. If you've ever tasted the bitterness of betrayal, this book is a must-read. Anita has written a triumphant work that transcends the title, lifting the reader from mere encouragement into a purposeful, meaningful life of joy and freedom. I will be referring back to the pages of this book for years to come. And that is 100% true. I keep this book on my desk, and I've referred to it several times during some client appointments, even over the past month or so. The back of the book here says, we will do almost anything to avoid facing our worst fears. But when tragedy strikes and you can no longer hide, what do you do? Many experience abuse, financial disaster, serious illness, death of loved ones, and other common traumas, making them believe they will never move past the pain. But through research and true story compilations, author Anita Eggers Brooks offers emotional, practical, and spiritual insights from experts and people who have survived intense trauma and have made it through seemingly impossible situations. Getting Through What You Can't Get Over offers relatable stories from people who have been there and lived to see a much brighter day, as well as a section of insider tips that provides insights on emotional healing, practical applications to take, and scriptures for spiritual comfort and encouragement to help you work through any struggle. So now, I don't want you to be confused and think that this is an anthology. Even though it shares stories, it's all written from a first-person perspective. So Anita authored this book solely, but she does have several different people who have contributed, and just several different resources. I come to find out, this is interesting about Anita, after the fact, after we got in contact with one another, we found out that we are actually related through marriage. It's just an interesting thing. Like, she's actually in my family tree. So she's a speaker. She's a circuit speaker for Stonecroft Ministries, and she goes around and speaks at different organizations, all on hope and healing. And she even has a greeting card line. Anyway, she's a phenomenal author. I also have several other books here in a little stack that I'll show you guys later on in the broadcast that I sort of refer to. And I would just love for you guys to continue to share the resources that have been helpful for you, and continue to tweet them out. And as often as you can, include the Amazon link, perhaps, in the tweet if you have an opportunity to do so. And then be compiling that list of documentaries, movies, podcasts, and other multimedia resources that have helped you in your recovery journey. YouTube channels. I know you guys know, on like the top of my list for YouTube channel resources is probably going to be Richard Grannon's Spartan Life Coach channel. That channel has empowered me, you guys. I'm not trying to fangirl out over here, even though Richard's pretty awesome and it's pretty easy to fangirl over him, or even fanboy over him, however you want to say it. But his work is empowering. His sole purpose in life is to find a way for people living with complex post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of adverse childhood experience to experience joy and peace and live a life that is not stressful, to live a life of peace. So, and that's a pretty awesome purpose. And every single video he has recorded and put out on his channel has propelled me in my recovery journey and caused me to want to learn more about what I endured and how my brain processes it. And I mean, he's a huge believer in neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. He's a master practitioner of NLP, and he uses a lot of like Zen Buddhism sort of mindfulness techniques as well, and talks a lot about grieving. And he's a huge proponent of Pete Walker's Complex PTSD book. I'm just a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of his work and his mission and his goal. And he's got a potty mouth because he's from the UK, and almost everyone I know from the UK that I've watched on YouTube has a potty mouth. It just must come with the territory or something. I'm not really sure, but I don't mind it. If you mind cursing and you think cursing is the devil, then don't watch his channel. But if you want to heal and you're willing to do whatever it takes, then subscribe to his channel, and we'll talk more about him next week. But I digress. Bobby. You're like, I'm going to let Athena ramble for 30 minutes. I'm sorry.
It is okay. That's all helpful. The next book is It Didn't Start With You, How Inherited Family Trauma Shapes Who We Are and How to Heal. We have talked multiple times on these broadcasts about intergenerational trauma. And I know that we have, many of us have done a little family tree going back multiple generations to trace the trauma that has happened in our families. And we've just seen it just, barrel through like an 18-wheeler without a driver our family history and just bowl people over and take them out. This is an excellent book if you would like to have an understanding of how family trauma shapes our current lives and how it shaped our families' lives, the people before us. And also, you know what? I'm not a big fan of books who just give you information about how something damaged you without telling you how to heal. And Mark does that. And so if you have an interest in and want some information about intergenerational family trauma, this is a good book. Oddly enough, these next two books fell together in the alphabet, but they are both the two books on the list that are specific to male survivors. That doesn't mean that female survivors can't read them, but I highly recommend them to male survivors, their spouses, their loved ones, anyone who wants more information about how childhood trauma affects boys and men. And the first one is Iron Man Family Outing, Poems About Transition into a More Conscious Manhood. This is by Rick Belden. Rick is active on Twitter. He's phenomenal. Love him. You can probably reach him yourself on Twitter and talk with him, interact with him. And this book is about his coming to terms with his childhood trauma and how it affected him and how he made changes and did what needed to be done to come into more conscious manhood for himself. And then Joining Forces, Empowering Male Survivors to Thrive by Dr. Howard Fradkin. Fabulous book. Love anything he writes. Is very much a supporter of community, and golly gosh, if you've been here for too long, you don't have to listen to more than one or two of our videos to know that Athena and I are both huge proponents of community, and frankly don't think you could do much damage by being part of a community. In fact, it would probably propel your recovery forward by just leaps and bounds. And Dr. Fradkin is a huge proponent of it as well. So good book for male survivors, those who love male survivors, and those wanting a little more information about what it's like to be a man who was sexually abused as a child. You know what? Here's a good one. And again, this is one that Athena and I have talked about multiple times. Love is a Choice. The definitive book on letting go of unhealthy relationships by Hernfeld, Minirth, and Meyer. Very, very down to earth, very easy to read, informative, easy to get through, understood. Very good book on how to jettison unhealthy relationships from your life. And if you were abused as a child, grew up in a chaotic, dysfunctional family home, unhealthy relationships are your norm. You don't know healthy relationships. I'm trying to remember who I was talking to. Oh, I know, in one of my groups. It was a group that I led yesterday. We were talking about how sometimes survivors thrive in unhealthy relationships as adults because it's what we know. It may be a beast, but it's a beast we know. And that healthy relationships might be frightening to us. And I have seen that repeatedly with many survivors. And so if you find yourself drawn to unhealthy relationships, it makes sense. That's what you grew up with. You know how to handle unhealthy relationships. It doesn't mean you like them. It doesn't mean you even want them. It means that's what you know, and that's what you're comfortable with. Healthy relationships are what you don't know. And if you don't know them, chances are you're not comfortable with them. One of the main driving forces in our lives as survivors is safety. And when we don't know something, we probably don't feel safe with it. So this is a good book if you want to start your journey on understanding that who you love is a choice, and you have power to choose healthy relationships, and you have the power to let go of unhealthy relationships. This next book is by Penny Parks. Penny is an American who lives in the UK, and she has a very popular following, and she even has a foundation there in the UK that uses this therapy that you'll find in this book, Rescuing the Inner Child, Therapy for Adults Sexually Abused as Children. She runs workshops, she certifies other therapists in the method, and she leads workshops for survivors. And this book summarizes her method, Rescuing the Inner Child, Therapy for Adults Sexually Abused as Children. It is a very gentle method. It does not require a lot of focus on your childhood trauma, but instead it focuses on building up the inner child, building positivity, building life skills and emotional skills to cope with life from this point forward. So a very interesting book, and if you're in the UK, you may already be familiar with Penny Parks and her work. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. Love him.
Yeah.
In fact, Athena and I discovered we were daydreaming about how wonderful would it be to have him at our conference in November. And do you know, he's already going to be in Dallas at a conference. I wish I could remember the association, something like the International Trauma Studies or something like that. So we might
someday.
We might just show up over there and casually invite all the people like Dr. van der Kolk to come talk at our seminar.
Yeah, added value. Hello, our peeps deserve the best. They deserve the best.
So there's a bit of a formatting issue here, but these two books right in a row, Dr. Bessel van der Kolk and Dr. Babette Rothschild, are both books about the body and how it is affected by trauma. Dr. van der Kolk's book is The Body Keeps the Score, Brain, Mind, and Body in the Healing of Trauma. And Dr. Rothschild is The Body Remembers, The Psychophysiology of Trauma and Trauma Treatment. Both gold standard books, and both of them have written other books. So if you read this book, you like it, you could build a whole library written by both of these fine folks. Both of them talk about how trauma affects our body and what we can do to access the trauma that is stored in our body. If you go down to the very last book on this list, I'm going to go out of order here, Waking the Tiger, Healing Trauma by Peter Levine. Peter Levine is another well-respected expert in the field of trauma recovery, and he talks in this book again about body, and he specifically makes the link between how animals experience trauma but don't develop PTSD. And so he talks about what animals do to discharge the trauma so that it doesn't store in their bodies, and he makes recommendations about how we as human beings can do the same thing. So The Body Keeps the Score, The Body Remembers, and Waking the Tiger, Healing Trauma are all three really good books if you would like to find out more information about how we process trauma in our bodies and then how we can heal from that. The next book by Wendy Maltz. Love Wendy Maltz. She's personally and professionally a wonderful woman. and she has written a book called The Sexual Healing Journal, a guide for survivors of sexual abuse. And she talks about the aspect of healing sexually after having been a victim of childhood sexual abuse. And so if you are at all interested in that aspect of your recovery, I know that we have talked about intimacy. We have talked about intimacy issues many times, and this one will help you out. I promise. This last one was a book that was brought up this morning in chat, and I remembered that I had read this, and it is, in fact, an excellent book. And it's called Too Scared to Cry, Psychic Trauma in Childhood by Lenore Terr. An excellent book that talks about how trauma affects children. And it's interesting because so often we hear that comment, which of course probably annoys the living bejeepers out of most of us. Well, why didn't you just tell? Why didn't you tell somebody? Why couldn't I tell that you were so upset? Okay, this is why. Too scared to cry. Not all children who are being abused have the capacity to demonstrate that in their words and actions because they are so traumatized. And again, they are driven by protecting themselves and protecting their safety. And for many of us, making any kind of outward demonstration that we're suffering or we were being abused was terrifying because of the things that our abuser did to us and the way that they groomed us to be frightened to share about our abuse. So, an excellent book, not a difficult read, and it has been around on the market for quite a while. The last one, because I already talked about Waking the Tiger, Trigger Points, Childhood Abuse Survivors' Experiencing of Parenting. I love this. It is an anthology written by survivors. In fact, we have multiple people in our community, Jody Ortega being one, who have pieces in this book. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it because it talks about how having a child and raising a child can be a challenge sometimes for survivors, and also how it can be a joy. I don't think that we as parents who are survivors get a chance often enough to be validated for some of the struggles that we have as parents. We're afraid to talk about it. We don't talk about it. It's stigmatizing to talk about it. But I can tell you as a parent that it can sometimes be very triggering to raise a child. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you're a bad parent. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's just part of the process. So that is the book that's on the list that talks about parenting as a survivor. And it was also something that people were asking for more of in chat this morning. So if you know of any books geared towards parents of survivors, no, that's not right. Yes, parents of survivors, but also survivor, okay, wait a minute, parenting as a survivor. There we go, yay! We'd love to hear. So we can add those. And there we go. Athena, what are people saying, thinking, doing?
Well, we're having an excellent discussion, believe it or not, about tons more books. Brandon spoke up about one of the books that was helpful for him, some discussion about Pete Walker's book, and then actually, I think I just have someone who has volunteered to be the person in charge of gathering all the entries for our adult coloring book fundraiser that we're going to be doing. And I just need to get her in contact with Simi, I believe, I'm not 100%, is going to be the person, the go-to person for everyone who wants to submit an entry for the adult coloring book. she'll be the point person to gather those. If she completely agrees, we're just in discussions about it right now. And then Rachel B., who is our volunteer coordinator, would be the person overseeing that. And then we would work together behind the scenes to go through all of that, acknowledge everyone, let them know if it's been accepted, and then we would move forward in publishing that. And that would not be something that anyone is paid for. You would, of course, receive a copy of it, but it would be used as a fundraiser. So all that sort of happened while we were going through this list of books. Thank you so much, everybody. Bobby, isn't that exciting?
It is. It is. That would be wonderful. And everybody come to the conference in November, and we'll have tables of books available. Ha! Yay!
Oh yeah, I mean that's our goal. We have speaking of tables filled with books, I have these books set aside. These are some of the ones that we talked about. This is The Body Keeps the Score. Excellent book, you guys. This is one that I recommend for every single survivor, and not just because it's about our bodies. This is good for any type of trauma survivors. Professor, I always say his last name wrong, van der Kolk. Professor Bessel van der Kolk, he speaks from, he's first of all, he's trauma informed. Second of all, he's all about empowering the survivor and just learning all of the different intricacies about our bodies, helping us to understand how the body has not only endured the trauma, but how it remembers and then shows up later on in life in ways that you don't even really realize that it possibly could. This is just an empowering book. I can't recommend it highly enough. I mean, you'll see all my little scribblings in here, and I won't show you all those, but because I have client notes in there, actually. This is a book that I don't know if we mentioned on our list. In fact, I don't think it is. A friend of mine, actually, Tracy, recommended this book to me, and this has been an excellent, excellent resource to, especially for anyone out there who has a narcissistic parent or a personality disordered parent, or you're in an abusive marriage or relationship, or if you are a parent of a child who is personality disordered and they are abusive toward you. This is an excellent resource. I couldn't recommend it highly enough. There is a caretaker score in the back to find out how much of a caretaker you are. And I sort of had to rewind and go, okay, this is pre me deciding to go low contact to no contact with the people that are toxic in my family. But this is an excellent resource. So definitely recommend. And then we did mention this one. I purchased this because our dear friend, Brenda Ewan, who is an active member of our survivor community every single week, she recommended this book. I just purchased it, haven't even cracked it open yet. I've only read the back and just sort of done some just brief glances at pages, but man, I looked at the reviews, so excited about this, you guys, seriously. And then Bobby recommended this book to me. This is going to be required reading for anyone that takes our trauma recovery certification program, anyone that's looking to begin a career or shift into a career of becoming a helping professional, whether that's a peer advocate or you want to become a trauma recovery coach, or if you're just looking to supplement your skills, if you're already a counselor or a therapist and you just want to be more trauma informed, we have a course coming up that's launching September 21st. And so we'll be telling you a lot about that, and obviously the enrollment will be open in the month of September, and it will be closed. We won't be able to accept any more people that want to come in and want to take that course until maybe the spring, but likely the fall of 2017. So if you're contemplating wanting to have a career in trauma recovery and learn how to be a helping professional, and just what does that even entail? Do you have to go to school for 8 years, et cetera, et cetera? I'm not talking about becoming a doctor. I'm not talking about getting your master's degree. This is a trauma recovery coach certification program. This is a 9-month-long course. This has practical hours. This has written content. This has required reading. This is 2 hours a week, every week, that is in classroom time. And Bobby and I will be the people that are teaching this course, and we'll also I'm already reaching out to different experts in the trauma field, seeing who would like to come in and maybe speak to our classes. So it's going to be really, really, really amazing. And we hope that we get to see as many of you as possible if that's a career that you're sort of looking into. And then this last one, I'm shamelessly self-promoting Bobby Parrish, Rachel Thompson, and myself. This is the anthology, our very, very, very first anthology. Bobby, we received some more emails this weekend about wanting to know the anthology topic for 2016. If that's you guys, and you're wondering what 2016's topic is going to be, it's called Discovering Together. It's all about community. And the reason I haven't responded to all your guys' emails is we're combining 2015s and 2016s because we just, quite frankly, we couldn't handle it. Like, my dad died, I had stuff going on, I had health issues, Bobby had health issues, and we just need more entries, period, end of story. So 2016, Discovering Together, it's all about community. How has community changed the way you look at recovery? How has community impacted your recovery journey? How has the power of community empowered you or helped to set you free from the bondage that you were in and shame, or how has it affected your life? And we want true essays. These are not works of fiction. These are true essays on the topic of community, or having just one other safe person in your life. How has that impacted your recovery journey? Bobby, you have any comments? Any other comments on our awesome anthology? We have Little L, and so many of you guys that are here and that are watching. You are in this book. It is your voice that people get to read. Your stories grace these pages, and we are looking forward to many more anthology opportunities with more of your stories. So, Bobby, do you have any more comments on this anthology?
No. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of everyone whose story is in there. And like you said, I can't wait for us to put out. I think we'll just start doing one every other year, depending on how many submissions we get. But the next one should be there on the book table at the conference in November.
Yes. So the adult coloring book that we're going to be putting out, my goal is to have it ready before the November conference, obviously. And it is going to be normal coloring book size, not the 10 by 10. I know that a lot of there's 8 by 8s, there's 7 by 7s, there's the square books that are the adult coloring books that are square. And there's also 8 by 10 because they're frameable, and then there's ones that have like 5 by 7 because they're frameable. This is going to be the larger, it'll be, I want to say it's like a 9 by 13, I think it is. I think that's the size. Maybe it's a 9 by 12. It's the normal coloring book size that Amazon offers. So that's the size, but you can submit any size artwork and we can blow it up, and if it's high enough resolution, we'll be able to accept that. And once we nail down who our point person is going to be for the adult coloring book, you guys, this is just something we're not perfecting this. We're not going to have analysis paralysis. We're not going to wait for everything to be perfect. We're going to take inspired action. We're going to receive your entries. We're going to see if we can put them out there with some sort of, it would probably be helpful if there was some sort of a theme. I'm going to brainstorm with Bobby. We have a business meeting every Monday after our broadcast. And then we'll just give you some more information on the adult coloring book. Any questions that you have for that, please email us at nomoreshameproject@gmail.com. In the subject line, please put adult coloring book fundraiser, and we would be happy to answer your questions. Harriet, if you could maybe, like right here on the screen, pop up a little thumbnail that I'll send you, letting people know they can click that to send us an email regarding submitting artwork for an adult coloring book that we're going to be putting out. And again, you will not be paid. It is a fundraiser for this community to help us put on the event. So I think that's all the information. Of course, there's a release, and you'll have to sign something that you're not going to sue us because we never paid you, because we're telling you here on video that is going to be around forever, that you're not going to be paid. It's a fundraiser. So thank you, Harriet, and thank you, everyone, for being here. Bobby and I, we look forward to Mondays. Mondays are our most favorite day of the week because we get to be here and hang out with you guys. And if you are not already plugged in to a private, secret Facebook group, and you're not a part of the greater survivor community that is welcomed in among several different safe groups, and you're healing in safe community, free from predators, among other people that can build you up and encourage you. If you haven't done that, we're getting ready to transition into the portion of our broadcast where we give you an easy 4-step process on how you can do that and how you can contact us if you have questions or you have suggestions for topics that you would like us to record videos about. So, Bobby, did you have anything you wanted to say to everybody as we're transitioning out of this time and into our next time?
No, just be thinking about movies. So fiction, documentary, any kind of a movie. Just make sure and let us know if it has strong adult themes or something that we should issue a trigger warning about, because we don't want to recommend movies that might be really triggering without letting people know. And then any podcasts that you listen to that have been helpful for you. And so tweet those with the No More Shame hashtag or email them to us for next week. And that's it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Gosh, this is amazing. I feel like oh, there's my phone. I feel like I'm missing something. It's because I didn't have my phone. So go ahead and tweet us, email us, get in contact with us. Let us know how we can best support you if you are an adult survivor of child abuse, specifically childhood sexual abuse. We love showing up here every week and supporting you and giving you everything you need for healthy, informed trauma recovery. And if you are new to this channel, stick around for another 15 minutes max and figure out how you can get supported. But this is a very fond farewell and aloha to each of you who show up here every single week. You guys are amazing. We just appreciate you. Thank you so much. Aloha. And Bobby, I guess we have our screen, our awesome, beautiful screen share that I'm probably going to have to update at some point, right?
Yes.
I know. I can't keep up with all the updates. I mean, seriously.
I understand. I understand. Okay, let's see here. Present to everyone. Yay! Present to everyone. There. Okay. Let's make it big. Okay, this is how you can join in our safe community. These are the ways that we offer free support, education, encouragement to survivors every week. We have, as Athena mentioned earlier on the broadcast, 3 Twitter chats. The first one is Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 6 o'clock in the UK. The hashtag is CSAQT, which stands for Child Sexual Abuse Question Time. The next one, if you're watching us live, you are taking part in right now. It is an interactive video and Twitter chat. The hashtag is No More Shame. And it is at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, and 2 o'clock Tuesday morning for the UK crowd. And then our final Twitter chat of the week is Tuesday evening. The hashtag is Sex Abuse Chat, and that is at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, and Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the morning if you're in the UK. And I got tornado sirened out of that last week. So here's for hoping weather behaves itself this week, huh?
Yes.
Okay. And then if we have multiple Facebook support groups, if you would like to join one of those support groups, please follow this simple 4-step method. We ask that you don't use any other way of doing it because this is how it is the easiest and the speediest way for you to get connected with one of our support groups. So the first thing that we ask you to do is to go onto Facebook and like the Trauma Recovery University page. And I'll show you that in the next slide, what the URL is for that. Then send a friend request to both Athena and I on our personal Facebook pages. After we have one of us has accepted your friend request, then send us a message that says, I would like to heal in safe community, or something similar to that. Please don't send us a Facebook message before we've accepted your friend request, because then it goes into our infamous other folder and we don't get a notification. After we get your message, if we don't know you from our Twitter community or from a live event or any other way, we will likely ask you some questions. And we ask you please not to be offended by that. It's because we're trying to maintain the safety of our support groups. It's very important to us that the support groups remain a safe, predator-free environment for our survivors. And so we just like to ask you some questions and make sure that you are safe to be placed in one of the groups. And then we will do that, and we will post an introduction, and you will be off to the races. So, next, oops, pressed the wrong button. Let's see. Okay, so let's go to the very last screenshot of the night. And that is the one that has our lovely faces on it. Present to everyone.
Yay!
Yay! And we will make it bigger because I'm 50 years old and my eyes don't work as well anymore. Yay, bigger. Yay, bigger with her picture. Okay. So here is how to get in touch with Athena and I. Email is not always a quick reply, and we ask your patience with that because we're trying really hard to manage all sorts of things. So if you would like to get in touch with us via email, my email is bobbylparish@gmail.com. Athena is Athena Moberg speaking @gmail.com. And then the joint email that we share is nomoshameproject@gmail.com. If you would like to follow us on Twitter, interact with us there, I am Bobby L. Parrish, Athena is Athena Moberg, and Trauma Recovery University is Trauma Recovery U. And then across the page on the right-hand side, you'll see that we can be reached as Trauma Recovery University on YouTube, Roku TV, and Google+. Just do a simple search there and we pop right up. On Facebook, if you would like to connect with us there, you can find the Trauma Recovery University page. My professional page is Bobby Parrish Coaching and Consulting. My personal page is Bobby Parrish. Athena's professional page is Athena Moberg Speaking, and her personal page is Dawn Athena Moberg. And that is, as they say, all she wrote. Yay!
Yay! Thank you so much, Bobby.
You bet.
Well, you guys, thank you so much. Gosh, we still have, now we're, okay, we're all done. We still had like over a dozen people that had still hung around. That means a dozen more new people were tuning in. So that's amazing. Thank you, you guys. We want to, as always, just thank you for your participation in this incredible community. And I want to really thank once again, our people that come early, they support one another, they step up and volunteer, they see a need, they meet the need, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for the tenacity and people that really step up and just have initiative and are willing and able to be professional and just step up and help out. I'm grateful. So I just can't tell you how incredible it is for us to know that as we put ourselves out there, which this is terrifying. We might make it look like this is like super easy and whatever, but it's terrifying for us to show up here, put ourselves out vulnerably to the entire world and say, hi, we're adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse. Oh, and would you like to volunteer and help us with stuff? Like, I mean, it's scary. It's scary to put ourselves out there and tell you guys that we have a need. We are only two girls And as I mentioned in the last couple of weeks, my math has been corrected. There are 1 billion of us on the planet with a B, billion. There are 1 billion of us. And that, I'm not talking to you, Siri. She does that every week. There are 1 billion of us, you guys. There are 1 billion survivors who have been or will be sexually abused before their 18th birthday. And Bobby and I are 2 girls. And we are rallying the troops, and we have people stepping up to be volunteer coordinators. We have incredible people stepping up to be to handle our back end of our web development, engineers and neonatal nurse practitioners and teachers and consultants and just professionals from all walks of life, and people who are stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home dads, and they're all just stepping up and going, here I am, use me, use my skills. I want to help this community. What can I do? How can I help? How can I help grow this community? What can I do? And I just never want to close one of our broadcasts without thanking you for being the most important part of this community. Because without you guys, Bobby and I we could show up here every Monday and just hang out, just the 2 of us. But when we start seeing all of you guys show up, and we know that you all are here, and we see you here, like tweeting us questions and hanging out with one another, it just makes our hearts sing. So thank you. Thank you for making my entire week like you do every week. And I'll see you next week. Please be thinking of movies. They don't have to be movies about trauma. I mean, come on. They're movies that have helped you on this journey toward recovery. I know that it sounds crazy, but Forrest Gump helped me. The movie Forrest Gump. It helped me. It helped me access some areas of grief that I had not accessed ever before. And I was able to heal exponentially after I watched that movie and allowed myself to grieve certain areas of my life. And grieving, in my opinion, is an important aspect of this recovery journey. So again, Forrest Gump doesn't sound like it should be on the list, but I'm putting it on the list because it has really helped me in my own recovery. And I'll watch it again if I have trouble accessing fear or anger or emotion or tears, and I know that I need to somehow get connected with my emotions as they pertain to me and my recovery journey. I know that if I watch Forrest Gump, I'll bawl my eyes out, and I can usually unlock something that's been sort of stuck. So what movies help you? What movies help you? Someone, Sarah from the UK, I'm so happy Sarah was sleeping tonight and that she wasn't here, even though we miss you and love you, Sarah. But Sarah mentioned The Alchemist. Not a book about, recovery from childhood sexual abuse, but it's helpful. There are books that are helpful. Be thinking about movies and podcasts, fiction, nonfiction, documentaries, whatever it might be. And tweet those out to us using the hashtag No More Shame. Send them to us in email, nomoreshameproject@gmail.com. And more importantly, in closing, show up here next week with us on Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here at Trauma Recovery University. And hang out with us. Become a part of our community. And Bobby, did you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for spending an hour with us. And we really look forward to you being here next week. Good night.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.